You know, one thing that you have to address during Dark Night of the Soul? Grief. And baby, it hits hard. Hi, my name's Liz, and I'm an intuitive psychic medium. In this video, I'm going to talk about why grief hits so hard in Dark Night of the Soul, how it shows up, and how you can move through it. Let's get to it. Grief during Dark Night of the Soul is a uniquely intense and transformative experience. And it's not just about mourning a loss, it's a deep existential sorrow, a guttural feeling that strips away old beliefs, identities, and attachments, and it can leave you feeling lost, broken, and disconnected. So, why does it hit so hard during Dark Night? Well, the first is because of loss of identity. Dark night often dissolves the familiar sense of self because you're stripping away the ego, and it leads to a possible identity crisis. You might grieve the person who you once were. This is intentional. Stop holding on to your ego. The second reason is there's loss of meaning. Things that once gave you life purpose, like your relationships, your career, your faith, your passions, they may feel empty or meaningless. There's a lot of deconstruction of Christianity that happens during this phase. A third reason is loss of spiritual connection, a feeling that God, the universe, or your higher self is just absent. And that triggers profound spiritual loneliness. You are not being given up on, you are being brought in closer. You're being shown who you really are. A fourth reason is loss of certainty. The beliefs or systems that once provided security for you may fall apart, and this leaves confusion and doubt. This also ties into deconstruction of Christianity. So, how does grief manifest in dark night? Well, first is the deep sadness and despair. This is a pervasive sense of sorrow that feels impossible to escape. You may feel like you're falling into a depression, or you may actually be falling into a depression. I caution you to use very positive coping mechanisms instead of the negative ones, the ones from our unawakened lives. I caution you to engage in therapy if you're not already, and to rely on any kind of support systems you may have who are on board with your awakening. You may feel numbness and apathy, having a loss of interest in life and relationships and activities that once brought joy. Remember that this is because you are shedding the version of you that no longer serves you, and it may feel conflicting and empty at times. Another way that grief might show up is through emotional turmoil. Waves of anger, guilt, regret, or fear may arise unpredictably. Pay attention to who you are angry with. Is there trauma that needs to be cleared? Are there new offenders that you need to be on the lookout for? People are going to show you who they really are during Dark Night of the Soul. You might feel exhaustion and physical symptoms. The emotional weight of grief can lead to fatigue and body aches and sleeping difficulty. It's really tiring. All the crying in and of itself is tiring. Grief may show up as a feeling of isolation and loneliness, like I said before, a feeling that no one understands your suffering, which leads you to withdraw from others. You are being pushed to withdraw from others, that hermit mode that you may have heard about during Dark Night. But as you are engaging in hermit mode, I caution you again to rely on your support systems. Don't just go into your hidey hole and go deeper and deeper and deeper into despair. A final way that grief might show up is through yearning and longing, this deep desire to return to a past sense of connection, wholeness, self, or spiritual certainty. Don't go back. Change is uncomfortable, and through that discomfort, we grow. So, how do we move through grief in dark night? Well, one way is to surrender to the process. Instead of resisting grief, allow yourself to feel it and express it. Cry if you're going to cry. Be angry if you're going to be angry, but let it flow through you and out of you. Second way is letting go of your old identity, recognizing that this loss is creating space for the newer version of you to emerge. It's not going to be pretty, the process, not the version of you. Find stillness and calm. Practices like meditation, journaling, or being in nature can help you process the grief. As I keep saying, seek support. While isolation is common, connecting with others like mentors, spiritual guides, or therapists can provide grounding. Find your tribe. We are out there, I assure you. And most importantly, trust the transformation. Dark night of the soul often leads to this deeper, more authentic spiritual awakening. Grief is part of the rebirth. You have to shed old shit to come into your new bloom. If you have questions about grief in the dark night process or dark night itself or the awakening process itself, please leave them in the comments for me. You can also hit me up on Instagram and message me or message me on TikTok. I will respond. If you would like to book a private reading with me to explore anything about your process further, please do so through the link in my bio to my website. You can find me live on this app and on other apps as well. And if you want to know more, please follow for more. I love you.